Okay, so in this problem, we're going to be looking at problem number 3 of the free response question. In this one, we are writing this method addMembers, which takes in these two parameters. First one's a string array, the second one is graduation year, and we want to add the new members to the member list instance variable, and can be added in any order, and all of them are good standing and share the same graduation year. Let's go ahead and write some pseudocode first, and then dive into the actual code. We've got this array of names, and ideally we add every single one of these to our member list. But notice that member list is made up of a bunch of member info objects. Member info objects are created using these name, gradYear, has good standing properties. Okay, what we're going to want to do is loop over names, create a new member info object for each name, and then we're going to want to add that to our member list array list. And remember, what separates array lists from arrays is that you can just append onto an array list versus with an array you'd have to, like copy it, create a new array, and then add that new value to the array. You don't need to do any copying here. You can just use the add method. Looping over the names, we can do this with a simple for loop. So for int I equals 0, we want to start at the 0th index of our names array. Then we want to go through the entire array. So we want to keep going until I is less than names.length. So until we run out of elements in our array, I++. Okay. So then for every single name that we have in this array, we want to create a new members info object. How do we do that? We say members info, let's call it new member equals new member info. And then remember what we're doing here is we're calling the member info constructor. So the member info constructor is expecting these 3 pieces of information: the name, which we can get from our array names at I will give us the current name we're looking at. The grad year, as mentioned in the problem, they share the same graduation year, which is this second parameter, so grad year. And then has good standing, also mentioned in the problem that all members added are initially in good standing, so we can say true here. Okay, and then we are on to the last section of this problem, which we want to add this to member list. Member list, and then there's just that simple add method where we can append that to the end of the list, and that is the entirety of the code. Unfortunately, there's no sample input and output for this problem, but here is what the code looks like if we get rid of our pseudocode, where we're basically just looping over all the names. We're creating a new member for every single name inside that array, and then we're adding it to this instance variable. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.